My dad passed away a little less than a decade ago. A few days before my college graduation were the last days that I spent with him, and then the day after was his funeral. The process was slow and painful. He suffered from congestive heart failure, so my mom and I witnessed that decline, and he aged quite a bit in those last couple of years. So like I said, that was close to a decade ago. And today, when I was at work, I was giving a presentation. And at a certain point during that presentation, we have to go around and assist people that are taking the class with hands-on exercises. And there was a gentleman there who, he was there taking the class. And I didn't notice it at first. I didn't think anything of it at first. But it was when I wasn't paying attention and he would be in my peripheral vision that I started to think, is that my dad right there? Like, just out of the corner of my eye, I would see that sort of, how'd you say, like fluff or cowlick of hair that my dad used to have, especially at the time when he was sick. You know, his hair would be all messy. And he had a combination of black and gray hair. I would see that and I would think, my brain would tell me that that was him. And it was a strange experience for me because, you know, there are associations and feelings that we get when we're around certain people. People that we love, or even people that we dislike. We start to connect certain sensations to them. And so I was re-experiencing those, which was this strange phenomenon. I remember the last time I saw my dad, you know, after he had passed away, was before we went to the cemetery where he was buried. There was a small service at the mortuary, and that's where I got to, you know, look at his face and see him for the last time. And mind you, that location, that place where I saw him, that doesn't even exist anymore. So I couldn't even go back to that spot if I wanted to. But I distinctly remember seeing the freckles and skin tags on his face. And the guy in this class had the exact same sort of features, right? Same build to his nose, same profile. And it was a strange experience. It was almost like I kind of had the opportunity to revisit that again. And I know it's kind of a strange story to tell, but it was something that I wanted to document. And I suppose, if anything, if there is any kind of moral behind the story that I'm telling, it's to really pay attention to the details that people unconsciously share with you. You know, their scent, their appearance, their affect, their body affect, their mannerisms, all these sorts of things. Specifically, of course, you know, the close people in our life, our loved ones. It's important to take all of that in because we have to face the inevitable reality that one day they won't be in our lives anymore. Either because we won't be around or they won't. Everything in this life is temporary, and it's something I think about a lot on my own, you know, regardless of this experience. But it also makes life feel more enriching, in my opinion, more exciting, because I know how special each and every moment I share with someone I care about is, even if it seems utterly mundane. For example, if I spend time with my girlfriend, if we go to the beach or we go to a restaurant, one of the best things is not, you know, what happened at the beach, what we saw, what we talked about, anything like that. It was just little snapshots, right? You see snapshots of someone's smile and maybe a sound that they made or a laugh that they did. And those are the moments that stay with us, because, our brains, they're kind of fragile, right? Some people are really good at remembering things. I'm so-so. There's a lot of details that kind of get blurred into the past for me. But the things that stay with me are those little snapshots, which is why it's so important to have as many of those experiences as possible. That way you can go back and reflect. And later on, when you tell stories, you're sitting down and telling a story. The point of having stories to tell is not to brag about all the things that you've done or how exciting your life has been. It's an opportunity for you to articulate to someone else something you get to relive it by saying it out loud and trying to remember and trying to be as accurate as possible. Sometimes it's fun to embellish stories here and there, right? I'm guilty of doing it. I'm sure a lot of people, if you're watching this, you might have been guilty of embellishing a little bit here and there. But the game is trying to be as honest as possible. What actually happened from your perspective, mind you, because it's not going to be perfectly accurate. We all have our own take on the same situation that might have happened. But the practice of recalling, the practice of storytelling, it's something that I try to work on every day when I make these videos. So I was blessed to have the opportunity to sort of revisit my dad in a strange, kind of bizarre, roundabout way. And it was through work that I was doing. So I suppose that's a good sign, right? I'm out working, because I haven't always been working for the past, for a pretty decent amount of time. I haven't been working. So I'm glad to be doing that. And, I'm not someone who's particularly superstitious or thinks that things are happening for a reason in that sort of way. I think it was kind of coincidental, but who knows? If you're watching this, you might think it's a sign of something. And if you do, then good, more power to you. I hope this video is a sign for some element of your life to progress, improve, move in a particular direction, whatever. I hope it serves you, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good evening. I'll talk to you later.